Okay, so again, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome. My name is Carlo. I will be your host today. Thank you again for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about how summer 2026 financial aid works and hopefully answer some questions at the end. So, yeah. And again, please sign in if you haven't already, uh, just for attendance purposes. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a few things today. Uh, Number one, how do I know if I qualify for summer aid? How much do I pay for summer? What are my options? When will my aid go out? And this is a big one that a lot of our students ask is how do I report my summer units? How do I view my aid for summer? And then a few summer reminders. I mean, a few reminders about summer. And this is a typo here. I apologize, but feel free to utilize the QR code here. There's going to be a lot of QR codes with this presentation. So feel free to utilize that to follow along because all of this information is in our website. Okay, so let's answer the first question. How do I know if I qualify for summer financial aid, right? So a few things. Number one is we want to make sure that we're completing the correct application. As you all know, if you've completed a FAFSA or a California Dream Act application, or CATA for short, this is where the financial aid process starts. It always starts with submitting an application to be considered for aid, right? So make sure that we are completing, please make sure that you're completing the correct application, which is the 25-26 application, because there's two applications out right now, 26-27 and 25-26. So we will be using the 25-26 application for summer. Another thing that you want to double check is that you were awarded aid for either fall 25 or spring 26. Because if you weren't, that's something that we will talk about at the end. One recommendation that we do give to students is that they're enrolled in at least half-time amount as far as units. So for undergrad students who are pursuing a bachelor's, that'll be 6 units. And then for grad students who are master degree seekers and higher, it'll be 4 units. And then, like I said, the big one that is really part of the summer process is to report your summer units. That'll be found on your to-do list once we turn that on. One important note, this is for undergraduate students, is that if we're talking about covering tuition, just paying for tuition fully, if you were awarded the Pell Grant and some kind of California grant during the fall and spring semesters, you should be fully covered as far as summer tuition. Again, I'm going to repeat that. If you were awarded the Pell Grant or some kind of a California grant for either the fall 25 or spring 26 semesters, you should be fully covered, meaning that you won't have to pay for anything for the summer session. Okay. These are the links for the applications, FAFSA and CATA. Feel free to utilize that if you have not completed one yet. Okay, so how much do I pay for summer fees? This is the rate. I just do want to clarify, as the financial aid office, we do not handle fees or charges. That is something that specific offices is in charge with. For tuition fees, refunds, and direct deposits, those will be with the bursar's office. Bursar is a fancy way for saying cashier. And then obviously for housing fees, on campus living, that would be with the housing office. But for summer 2026, so CSUs, California State Universities, charge at a flat rate. It's not like community colleges where it's per unit, or maybe some UCs. So for CSUs, like I said, when you are 6 units or less, as an undergrad student, you will be paying $2,116. That will be your tuition charge. So, and then you do have the local fees that's already accounted there for. And then 7 or more, never seen a 6.1 unit, that'll be $3,472. Again, these are for undergraduate students who will be attending for summer, what they can expect for tuition. For grad students, post-bac, second degree, and master program students, 6 units or less, 1 to 6 units, it'll be $2,587. And then for 7 or more, it'll be $4,279. So a little bit higher than the undergrads. If you have any questions about the fees, or maybe you want to contest, like, hey, I'm not even using that fee, please feel free to contact the bursar's office. But as an SF state student, I just want to be transparent in that you are expected to pay the local fees, even though you are not using them. But feel free to have that conversation if you feel otherwise. Okay. And this is their link right here for the cashier's office. Again, if you will be one of those students who will be living on campus for summer, because we do have those students, for any housing arrangements, please contact the housing office itself, because they'll be able to break down your options for any kind of payments, or maybe like when things will be due, or how much specifically per month. That'll be with the housing financial services. So there are two different two different departments within the same office. Okay. All right, so let's talk about our aid options for the summer. So as we were talking about earlier, again, going back to the very first slide, if you got the Pell Grant or the state, any kind of state grant, right? Whether it be a Cal grant, A or B, a state university grant, those should be available for summer. So for the Pell Grant, specifically, we will be looking at the Student Aid Index, the SAI, if you are familiar with that one. So the lower your SAI is, the better chance you have of having a higher Pell Grant. And then it'll also be based on your units, 1 to 12 units. That's something that we will determine. Don't worry about how many units that you're going to take. But obviously, if you're trying to get a higher amount of your Pell Grant, you got to take more units, okay? The state university grant will be available as well. And the SUG specifically, I just want to go back. The SUG covers this first part of tuition, right? Because you have the local fees, which add up to this, 247, and then the SUG basically covers this part. So let's say that you're only getting the SUG for summer. You're basically going to be just paying $200 out of pocket. So that's not a bad deal, honestly. So, but that is the point of the state university grant. And these are students who got the SUG itself during the fall or spring semesters, or maybe they got the Cal Grant B, because Cal Grant is not available for summer because there is a 4-year limit of Cal Grant. So we try to save that for the fall and spring academic years. Summer enrollment grant is going to be for those students with a high SAI. Like, these are students who are not in the Pell Grant range. These usually run out quick. So the best way to get them is by reporting your summer units early. But I do want to mention that you can only get either the SUG or the SEG. You can't get both of them, right? The Pell Grant and SUG can go together. The Pell Grant and the SEG can go together, but you cannot get these two at the same time, okay? SEG, again, will be offered primarily to students who have only loans. But if they got a Cal Grant A or middle class scholarship, they'll be considered for that as well. Direct loans, these are the subsidized and the unsubsidized loans that FAFSA provides. So those will also be available as long as you have not capped out, because there is a certain cap for that. You don't have to worry about, what those caps are. We will determine that for you. Plus loans and private loans. So the plus loan will be available. It does require credit check approval, meaning that either your parent or yourself, if you're a grad student, will have to have good credit in order to be approved. Same thing with the private loans, and private loans are outside of the FAFSA or the CATA. And we will just basically complement, these two loans will complement the rest of your budget when awarding. Okay, so these are basically the awards that are available for summer 2026. Okay, so this is another famous question for our office is, when will my money actually go out? Because everyone loves money and we got to know when it goes out. So just to clarify, the word disbursement means it is paying your charges. It does not mean refund. There's a difference between disbursement and refunds. And disbursement, again, we just take the money that you were awarded and we pay for your fees. Okay. Now, when that happens, it'll be every Wednesday for the rest of the summer. We will have one starting date, and then from there, we will be doing disbursements every single Wednesday, as long as there's nothing on a student's to-do list or notification sections of their gateway. So if you have some kind of pending items, like maybe you were selected for verification, maybe you have some kind of to-do list that affects your financial aid, those need to be cleared, or else your summer aid will not go out. This is what I was talking about, the difference between disbursement and refund. Disbursement, again, means we pay for your fees. The refund is the leftover. So if your aid is higher than your charges, then you get a refund. That one will be handled by the bursar's office. Okay. So if you are expecting a refund, the bursar, they will usually send that to you a few days after Wednesday disbursements. Okay. And then for plus loans, just a note, if you are taking out a plus loan for the summer, make sure that your mailing address is correct as listed on the plus loan application, because sometimes parents be putting wrong addresses there and then they can't keep track. So it gets sent to the wrong address. So make sure to check in with the bursar's office regarding the mailing address for the plus loan. Okay, so the dates itself, disbursement for summer is so much easier than in the past because now we do it every Wednesday instead of by session. So the first disbursement will be on May 27. May 27. That is the first one. So anything that all students who are ready to go, they have their to-do list cleared, they've been awarded, they reported their units, and they see their aid, that'll all go out on May 27, whether or not your session has started. Okay. And then the last disbursement will be on August 5th. That is the cap for after that, no more disbursements for the fall 25, spring 26, and even summer 26 semesters. Okay. There will be a period where we won't disperse aid from June 24 to July 8. That's because it's the fiscal year closeout, meaning that we have to re-review and just audit basically all of our disbursements. So there won't be any money released for summer during that time frame. Okay. All right. So how do I report my summer units? This is, again, one of the main questions that a lot of students have, or they get very eager on how to do this. So we will turn on the report summer units item on your gateway. The expectation is sometime within the first 2 weeks of April. So let's say that you have priority registration, right? And you register for your classes, and Carlo, I'm not seeing the report summer units there. Just relax. That just means that we haven't turned it on. If it's the third week of April and still not turned on, there's definitely something wrong, but we're aiming to turn it on during the first week of April. So just keep an eye out. We will email you when we do turn that on, so you don't have to worry about it, okay? But from your gateway, if you do see that and we turned it on, obviously it says required. Required means you have to do them. That's why it says to-do list, all right? Something that you will have to take action with. Go to your student center, and then after you go to your student center, it's going to look like this, right? So go to your View Financial Aid. After you click View Financial Aid, you're going to want to click 2026, right? Because it's fall 25, spring 26, and summer 26. Summer, again, is the end of every academic year. And then from there, this is apologies for the outdated because we haven't obviously turned it on, but the link will be right here under your aid package for that school year. It'll say report summer units. So again, you have to register. I can't emphasize this enough. You have to register for your classes first for summer, or else this item will not be there. If you haven't registered for summer classes, don't even bother looking for it because it won't be there. Once you click on that, it'll give you this kind of like warning, like, hey, this is how many units you're going to be taking. You put it on there, and then you just want to click on the box and then click on submit. One big reminder. I know I'm saying a lot of reminders, but specifically for reporting summer units, we recommend that you hold off on reporting your summer units until you finalize all of your classes, because sometimes we get on the wait list and we think that, oh, we're good. I'm good to go. I'm good to go. We want to avoid that because you can only report your units one time from your side. Obviously, you can always reach out to us, but in order to kind of avoid that, that back and forth, wishy-washy, like that can get frustrating for a student. Just try to hold off until you know that all of your classes have been added, and then I would report it. Okay. All right. So how do I view my summer aid, right? So let's say that you reported your summer units, and then you get an email from us saying that, hey, you can see your summer awards now. So same thing. You go to your gateway, right? Log in, find the student center. Same area. You go View Financial Aid 2026, and then there we go. You will see it at the very bottom of your award page. So it should be underneath the spring section. Again, we haven't posted any summer awards, so I'm using last school years. So for this student, as you can see, they're getting the Pell Grant, the State University Grant, and they're getting also their sub loan and unsub loan, right? Right now it says, notice how it says 6,000 on the accepted and 12,000 on the offered. That's because this student hasn't accepted their loans, because you will have to manually accept your loans, okay? And I think that should be it. We do have some final reminders and we're going to close this out. So again, so students usually will receive their summer disbursement at the beginning. Uh oh, this one's outdated. You can ignore this one. But again, we're going to have two disbursements for summer. It's going to be May 27th is the first one, right? And then every Wednesday after that, there is that little mark in June 24th to July 8th where you can't get anything. And then we'll keep going after July 8th until August 5th, okay? For students who were not awarded aid for fall 25 and spring 26 semesters, right? So maybe summer is going to be your first semester here at SF State. Please make sure to reach out to us because that means we will have to report your units for yourself, okay? Because you won't have that option since you weren't awarded anything for fall and for spring. If there is a change with your summer units, please make sure to also reach out to us because that's something that we will only be able to do because again, you can only report your units one time. After that, if you're trying to change something, we will have to be the one to do it to you for you. On-campus housing fees are due every month, so you are expected to pay every month. So make sure that again you have a lot of coverage by accepting your loans. Because if you don't accept your loans, whatever your grants alone can cover, that's it. After that, you're responsible for the rest. So if you're trying to get full coverage, make sure that what you're getting for summer is greater than your tuition and housing charges combined. Okay. And that should be it. So if you have any questions, our contact information is there. If you want to get any kind of advising, we do have our Zoom advising as well, which is there. But if you got all you need today, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Have a good Friday. I'm going to stop the recording and stay a few minutes for the questions. But have a good Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the sun, y'all.